The automotive world knew it would come. It was only a matter of time.
It's 1986, Bill Paxton is surrounded by aliens, Jeff Goldblum is turning into a fly, and apparently it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Also, some guy named Bob is opening an Acura dealership? What the hell is an Acura?
They're called Acuras.
1986 was the year Honda would introduce its new luxury division Acura into the North American market to sell its more upscale vehicles. Honda was the first Japanese brand to do this, and they likely wanted to capitalize on the same trend domestic brands were capitalizing on by slapping a more prestigious badge on their more upscale vehicles and selling them for more money. Plus, as nice as this sedan is, if it had an H logo on the grille and we used it to drop our kids off at school in 1986, well then Shannon dropping her kids off in her town car would tell all the other parents that we can only afford a cheap Honda. Acura would initially launch with two models, the entry-level Integra, which we recently talked about in another video, and the higher-end luxury sedan flagship, the Legend. The Legend was actually developed in partnership with the British automotive company Austin Rover Group, with Austin Rover wanting to develop a luxury car for the European market and Honda one for Japan and North America. So the joint venture was underway, with the result being the Rover 800 series for Austin Rover and the Legend for Honda Acura. For 1986, the Legend was a sedan only, and the only option was the choice of transmission, 4-speed automatic or 5-speed manual. All Legends had power windows, door locks, heated mirrors, power adjustable seats, and a power sunroof. Inside, the interior is constructed of high quality materials, and while dated by today's standards, I think it's pretty cool. I love these little reading lights in the back seats. There's just so many nice little touches like that on the Legends. This interior really lets you know you're driving a Legend, not just some Accord. Power came from Honda's first ever 6-cylinder engine, the C25A, a 2.5-liter 24-valve single overhead cam V6 that made 151 horsepower in the North American market. There was double wishbone suspension up front and gas-filled struts on the rear, and all rode on 15-inch alloy wheels with 4-wheel disc brakes. In 1987, a coupe model of the Legend was introduced. The coupe used a slightly larger C27A 2.7-liter engine, making 161 horsepower. Coupe models had unique taillights and one-piece front headlamps, though oddly the sedan would keep using the two-piece headlight design until 1989. The more aerodynamic coupe had a drag coefficient of 0.3, which if I'm remembering correctly from my Prelude video is lower than a Prelude. Over the next few years, more options would be added, including leather seats and memory seats with 3 memory positions. I don't know if I've ever seen a car with 3 memory presets before, it's always just 2. A new trim level, the higher-end LS model, was added, which featured some extra options including a Bose premium sound system and automatic climate control. ABS and driver's side airbag would become standard equipment. For the 1989 model year, the Legend sedans finally got the one-piece headlamps and the 2.7-liter engines the coupe already had, and rear suspension was upgraded to double wishbone. In 1990, there were some exterior cosmetic updates, including new wheels, and the coupes got a lip spoiler on the trunk, and the amber turn signal lenses in the taillights were changed to clear. If you've seen some of my other model history deep dive videos, then you know by now that Honda's mid-model run refresh formula is turn signals minus amber plus new steering wheel equals updated model. The first generation 626 is a sleek looking 80s, wait, why are we talking about a Mazda? Oh, that is Legend still? The first generation Legend is a sleek looking 80s luxury sedan. Well, at least once they fixed the headlights. It was a great start at establishing Acura as an upscale luxury brand. Following the success of the first generation, the second generation Acura Legend attempted to target an even higher end market. Honda would now not only be competing with the European luxury brands such as BMW and Mercedes-Benz, as by 1991, the other two major Japanese brands Nissan and Toyota had jumped onto the luxury brand bandwagon and had just introduced Infiniti and Lexus respectively. And while I can't say that Infiniti was much of a threat at this point, Lexus hit the luxury market with a big splash. The 1990 Lexus LS 400 was a large rear-wheel drive V8 sedan with a classy look and was full of premium features that frankly put other luxury cars at the time to shame. When Shannon traded in her town car in 1990, she scoffed at the current Legend and got an LS 400 instead. Acura knew it was time to up their game, and with a new model called the Vigor in place as sort of a mid-market option slotted between the Integra and the Legend, Acura is free to shoot upwards even higher with the Legend. The new Legend sedan was made larger and more streamlined looking and had similar proportions to the Lexus, making it appear as though it could potentially be rear-wheel drive. But it wasn't. Honda was still very all in on front-wheel drive cars, but what they did do was mount the now 3.2-liter C32A V6 longitudinally. On a longitudinally mounted engine, the cylinders are orientated in a line like this, and in the case of a V6, you will have a passenger side and a driver's side, or a right and left side bank that goes out at an angle. Timing belt will be at the front in this case. Compare that to a transverse mountain engine like on the first generation Legend, and you can see that the cylinders are orientated in a line in this direction, and so in the case of the V6 you'll have a front bank and a rear bank. Timing belt's going to be on the side. This is significant as most front-wheel drive cars by the 90s had transverse mountain engines, and since most Hondas are front-wheel drive, it's very rare to see a longitudinally mounted Honda engine. There are only a few exceptions. This mounting design gave the new Legend the silhouette of a premium rear-wheel drive sedan and also gave it an ideal 60-40 weight distribution. Despite the Lexus LS 400 being a V8, Honda did not offer a V8 option for the Legend, or for any car for that matter, as they didn't want to upstage the NSX with its dual overhead cam VTEC V6. Despite being a V6, the now 200 horsepower Legend had a 0 to 60 time of 7.5 seconds, almost a full second faster than the LS 400. Though to be fair, the LS 400 wasn't trying to be a sports car. If you want fast and sporty, Lexus would soon release the SC 300 and SC 400. Transmission options for the Legend were now either a 6-speed manual or the 4-speed automatic. As for the new coupe, it was 3 inches shorter than the sedan and had a completely different rear end, tail lights, unique wheels, and even different rear glass and windshield shape. Externally, it really only resembles a Legend sedan from the front. I absolutely love the look of these second generation Legend coupes. They're really a classy, timeless design in my opinion, and I really want one. The new interior is very high-end with plush leather seats and copious amounts of luxury options. Of course there is power everything, heated mirrors, heated seats, tilt steering wheel, standard sunroof on the coupes. There was even a car phone.
Hello?
On coupe models, you could even roll down these little quarter glass window panels, and they were power operated. Not that you would ever want to sit in the back of these coupes as there was virtually no headroom, but still, what other coupe in the last 50 years does that? Also on the coupes, the bottom of the seat belt mount would out of your way automatically when you opened the door and then back into place when you closed it. And as for the doors themselves, they were soft touch closing. No need to slam the door like some peasant, you're an Acura owner. The door shall close itself. Does your Lexus do that, Shannon? Honda was sparing no expense on the new Legend, and Bill from accounting with his cost-cutting scissors wasn't allowed anywhere near it. Don't worry though, Bill, you'll get to have your way with Honda and Acura in the early 2000s. Initial trim levels on the Legend were base, L and LS on the sedans, and L and LS on the coupes. The higher-end LS models had automatic climate control, walnut wood grain interior trim, and granted your passenger the same 4-way power seat that you had in your driver's seat. In 1993, the coupes received an upgraded engine, the C32A1, known as the Type 2 engine, which had bigger intake valves, a higher lift camshaft, and better exhaust flow, adding an extra 30 horsepower. 1994 was the refresh year, and the sedan models received a new front bumper, grille, and trunk lid, but shockingly the amber turn signal lenses remained. The base trim level was dropped and a new GS trim was added above the LS. The GS sedan had the Type 2 engine as well as the upgraded suspension and brakes from the coupe and was now the only sedan offered with the 6-speed. 1995 was the last year for the Legend and it was replaced by the 3.5 RL in 1996.